They say that tragedy plus time equals comedy. And how much time do we need? I don't know. But YouTube also has a strange rule. I don't know where I read it, but they don't want you to talk about a tragedy for at least 3 days. And if you do, the video is generally demonetized. But it almost sounds like YouTube would want you to make comedy out of tragedy. Anyway, today's video is about a tragedy. However, this is a tragedy that happened 22 years ago. So will it get demonetized? I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out, I guess. But anyway, if you do like these kinds of videos, especially videos that talk about things that YouTube will demonetize, as many of you know, YouTube is demonetizing everything these days, you can encourage me by going to my Patreon and signing up to become a patron there, or you can just simply leave a comment and tell me how much you got out of this video. Or and I do welcome any suggestions if you think I can tweak this to make it a little bit better. Anyway, but one of the points of these videos is to try not to spend too much time making them, because I want to make more of them, and if it takes a lot of time to edit, etc., well, the output will decrease. So let's get to it. Anyway, today's case is a pretty interesting one. We're going to learn a little bit about Japanese, of course, language, and also culture, and just the strange happenings of the man-woman relationship. So, 22 years ago in Toyokawa, which is fairly close to Nagoya. Let me just give you a map here. This is Nagoya right here, as you can see. And Toyokawa is, I'm over here, that yellow dot maybe. Toyokawa is down in this area. There it is, see? Toyohashi, Toyokawa. So it's in that area. Not too far away at all, right? Hamamatsu's down there. I'd say it's about an hour and a half, maybe 2-hour drive. And 22 years ago, in a residence there, a woman living with her husband put a knife in his head, and he died. That's usually what happens. Don't try that at home, kids. She claims that he was abusing her. Now, the way we say abuse in Japanese is surprisingly DV, which stands for domestic violence, not digital video. I don't think that's used in other countries, though it might be. Every country has a different way of different abbreviations and such. In America, though, we don't really say DV. We say domestic abuse. He was domestically abusing her. He was abusing her. He was physically abusing her. He was battering her. Those kind of expressions. Anyway, but in Japanese, DV is pretty acceptable. Anyway, she claims he was abusing her, so she killed him. Then the interesting part of the story: she stuffed his body in something called an衣装 case. Now, I assumed it was some kind of dresser or something, but after a little bit of investigation. And this is what you get if you do a search for衣装 case on the internet. You get these kind of plastic boxes, which, by the way, are also great ways to keep a hedgehog, if you want to keep a hedgehog, or a gerbil of some sort. I guess any small animal would do, or, of course, the body of your dead abusive husband. And that's what she chose to do with it. 22 years later, last January, in fact, she went to the police station of her own will, which is called jishu suru. And she turned herself in and she said, I killed my husband 22 years ago. So the police went to the house where the murder happened and where the body was still literally just sitting there, laying probably in a fetal position to stuff into that box. And the body was still there, and there was no evidence or sign that the衣装 case had been moved at all in 22 years. So she killed him, put him in the case, and just left him there. We can assume she moved. I saw, according to the video you'll see later, the house where they found the body looks pretty dilapidated, or boro-boro, if you'd like to say. As we say in Japanese, boro-boro, boro-boro, boro-boro shita uchi, or boro-boro no uchi. Boro-boro, right? Boro-boro is dilapidated, or a mess, or worn out, or worn down. Anyway, she's there. The body's there, and she confessed. And the police are looking into the hows of what she did. They're investigating her, and they eventually arrested her. I guess they arrested her this year. So it took like a year for them to get around to arrest her. I guess they had to investigate the whole murder. They're pretty thorough, or Japanese are known to be thorough. They're also known to violate human rights. In this case, though, this is not really about that. This is about a woman who turned herself in. Interestingly enough, there's a movie called Memoirs of a Murder, or Nijuuninen me no kokuhaku, which means, this is of course written in Japanese, which is 22-year-old confession. The confession of 22 years, and it's about a serial killer known as the Tokyo Strangler, who 22 years later, after killing I think 5 people, he decided to publish a book. And I don't know, when was this movie made? What was this? This is 2017. So it kind of doesn't make sense because there is no statute of limitations on murder anymore. But until 2010, there was a statute of limitations of 25 years in Japan. Now there's no statute of limitations. So even if you killed someone like 60 years ago, they can still get you. However, there was a case I was here. I don't remember the case specifically, but I remember watching it on the news. They captured a woman on the last day before the statute of limitations expired, which is pretty amazing. They got her in an izakaya. She'd been going there for a while. The izakaya owner took the cup that she'd been using. The suspect, the person he suspected was the murderer, gave it to the police. They did a fingerprint check or something, and they decided that that's her. 25 years later, and they arrested her. And anyway, that's that's another story though. But that's basically the situation here. Yeah, so let's go through the actual video, listen to it, and see if we can learn some Japanese. Okay, I'll read a little bit and then I'll let you listen to it little by little. Okay, let's do the first. Well, maybe we should just read it first. Okay, so I'll go through the kanji. Of course, the hiragana. I mean the English pronunciation is written on top of the romaji. Let's go. 20年前, 22 years ago. 20年前, touji, at the time. So at the time, 22 years ago. 住んでいた, living. 愛知県 in Aichi Prefecture. Toyokawashi in Toyokawa City. No, apostrophe S, in a residence of Toyokawa City in Aichi Ken. Juutaku, not juutaku. De, at. Otto o satsugai shita. A husband was murdered. Toshite, for nanajuuhassai, for 78-year-old no tsuma, wife. So the wife of 78 years old. Remember the no acts as an apostrophe S, is a possessive particle. 78 no tsuma ga taiho, arrested, sareta, was arrested, jiken, incident. De, referring to this incident, ottoの遺体を住宅で衣装ケースに入れて, the husband's body, 遺体を in the residence, in the residence, at the residence, in a plastic, well, we don't know if it's plastic for sure, but a clothing case of some sort, ni, inside, indicates direction, 入れて, to put in this case the body, 隠し, to hide, 続けていた, continued, koto, thing, incident in this case, referring to the incident, ga wakarimashita. So wakarimashita means to understand. So it was understood, it was learned, in this case maybe, it was learned that the continued hiding of a husband's body, which was put inside of a clothing case at a residence, over this incident, this 78-year-old wife was arrested for the murder of her husband at a residence in Toyokawa City, which is in Aichi Prefecture, where at the time they lived 22 years ago. Okay, that's the first part. Let's listen to it here. And here we go. Let's see. Okay.
22年前、当時住んでいた愛知県豊川市の住宅で夫を殺害したとして78歳の妻が逮捕された事件で、夫の遺体を住宅で衣装ケースに入れて隠し続けていたことが分かりました。
Okay, there we go. That's the first part. The second part. 殺害の疑いで on suspicion of murder, 殺人. Oh, I said satsugai, so excuse me. 殺人の疑いで on suspicion of murder. Another word for murder is 殺人. 逮捕された, arrested, 無職, no job. So an unemployed arrested on suspicion of murder. Who are we talking about? We're talking about the woman. Her name is Koike Asae. And whenever you indicate someone as a suspect, you put the word yogisha after her proper name. So suspect Koike Asae, who is unemployed, was arrested on suspicion of murder. And this wa indicates the topic. She is the topic. 1996 would be 1996年3月 March. Japanese is great with months. No creativity there. Just numbers. Toyokawashi in the city, inside the city. So Toyokawashi nai no apostrophe s. Touji at the time no jitaku de. Jitaku is one's own residence, right? Jitaku, own residence. De at the own residence, which at the time was in Toyokawashi. Inside the Toyokawa, I guess the borders of the city. I would assume that that implies to me that she doesn't live in Toyokawa inside there anymore, or maybe she just changed residence. Maybe she's still in the city. It's hard to tell. 59歳だった. Somebody who was 59 years old, otto. So the husband who was 59 years old, 59歳だった夫の an apostrophe s, Takashi. That's his name. First name, Takashi-san. So, Takashi-san no, otto no Takashi-san. That's his name. No atama, his head. So, on the head of Takashi-san, who is the husband and was 59 years old at the time, datta is past tense. O indicates what the verb will act on. Hocho de. Hocho is a kitchen knife. Hocho de. Using a kitchen knife. Tsukisas. Tsukisas is to stab. Yes. Nado, etc. Maybe she cut off some things. I don't know. Tsukisas nado. Tsukisas nado shite indicates action of doing something. Satsugai shita, murdered. Utagai. And here's an expression I've taught many times on this channel. Utagai ga motareteimasu. We don't use that a lot in conversation, but it's very common in these kind of crime videos or stories. So utagai ga motareteimasu. There's a suspicion of murder, stabbing with a kitchen knife in the head of Takashi, who is the husband and was 59 years old at the time. They lived in their own home at the time inside the Toyokawashi limits in March of 1996. And the suspect, his name is Koike Asae, and she has no job, and she was arrested on suspicion of murder. Sounds a bit redundant, but let's listen to it here.
殺人の疑いで逮捕された無職小池浅井容疑者は1996年3月、豊川市内の当時の自宅で59歳だった夫の隆さんの頭を包丁で突き刺すなどして殺害した疑いが持たれています。
Okay, let's go on to the next. 捜査関係者。捜査 is investigation. 関係 is relationship, and 者 is person. So people associated with the investigation, connected to the investigation, によりますと must know expression によりますと means according to. による is also according, this is a little more formal. によりますと So according to people in the investigation or associated to the investigation, close to the investigation, probably that's how they would do it in English. According to people close to the investigation, Takashi-san, the husband, no apostrophe s, itai, body, wa, topic marker, jitaku no, in the residence's oshiire, which is a closet, nai, inside the closet of the residence, the body of Takashi-san, according to the people close to the relationship, no apostrophe s,衣装ケースの中から発行化した状態で見つかったことが分かりました。Okay, so we got to go backwards. It's a bit long here. So it was found out, or it was learned that they found the condition, the 状態 condition, the condition of a skeletalized in a skeletalized situation from inside the clothing case, inside the closet, inside the home, the body of Takashi-san. So the body of Takashi-san was found inside of a closet, inside of a clothing case, in its skeletalized condition, we learned. And and this was learned from the people close to the investigation. Okay, let's listen to that part now. We're going to be right here. Here we go. I'll do this part first.
捜査関係者によりますと、隆さんの遺体は自宅の押し入れ内の衣装ケースの中から白骨化した状態で見つかったことが分かりました。
Okay. Again, we have the word itai, which is body. Itai wa the body. 移動された、させられた。I'm sorry. 遺体は移動させられた形跡はなく。There was no evidence or sign of having moved the body. So there's no evidence the body was ever moved. It was killed and stuffed in the case. Koike Yogisha ga, of course, this is the suspect. Yogisha, remember, suspect. Suspect Koike ga subject marker. Kyonen, last year, 1月 in January, ni, indicating time. In January of last year, the suspect, Ms. Koike, and then we talk about there's no evidence of the body ever having been moved. Mizukara. Mizukara means of her own volition. Keisatsu ni, to the police. Tsuho, announce, or I guess report. Tsuho suru made. So she went as far as the police. She went to the police and went and confessed from her own volition last year in January. Okay. Nijuunen ijo, more than 20 years ago. Nijuunen, of course, is 20 years. Ijo is more than. Ni watatte. Ni watatte is used with time to indicate time has passed. So more than 20 years have passed. Kakushi suzukete ita, the continued hiding. Tomite. The police are looking, mite, considering this a considered hiding of something for over 20 years. Kei, how it was done, etc. Kei nado wo, indicating what the verb will ask for. Kuwashiku shirabete imasu. They are investigating in detail, how, etc. she did it, and they're looking at this as they're looking at this as someone who just continued to hide the body for over 20 years. Okay, let's look at this last section here.
遺体は移動させられた形跡はなく、小池容疑者が去年1月に自ら警察に通報するまで20年以上にわたり隠し続けていたとみて、経緯などを詳しく調べています。
Okay, that is your video. I hope you learned something. I know it's long, but I hope you got something out of it. For this kind of video, you've got to put in some work too, so get to it. Make yourself a vocabulary list and start studying. These words will appear again and again if you are really intent on learning Japanese well. This is just part of it. Anyway, that's the story. Thanks for watching, everyone. I will be back soon with another. Let's do a different lesson. I'll try to alternate these because these take a bit of time, but they're interesting for me as well. I learned something as well. For example, I didn't know exactly what an isho case was. Now I do. Anyway, the other word that I thought was pretty interesting for me in this case was just the kanji of hakkotsuka, which is to become skeletalized. Just the kanji here is white bone become. This last kanji is ka, which actually is used for chemistry. So indicating that the chemistry changed, right? The bones became white. Kind of cool. I don't know. Is that a sick sense of humor? I don't know. Not humor. Just I thought it's not funny. Of course, it's interesting. Anyway, and from a cultural point of view, I think it's always interesting that they indicate that the bad person, the criminal, has no job. I don't think it's something you'd necessarily point out in America. If a wife killed her husband, they might not indicate what her job was, or if she didn't have a job. But often the people who commit murders in Japan, we often learn that they had no job. So being unemployed will eventually apparently lead to murder. So keep your jobs, keep busy. Idle hands are the devil's playground, whatever that expression is. I don't know. Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Talk to you guys soon.